Hey up, welcome to the Cannonall Farm podcast with us, the Nicholson brothers farmers Rob and Dave.
We're two Yorkshire farmers who, along with our dad Roger, brother Rich and the rest of our family, have turned a farm with 2 sheds and a barn into an award-winning tourist attraction.
You've seen us on telly, live on Facebook, and now we've got our very own podcast.
This week we're going to talk all about springtime on the farm, all the juicy gossip, all the little tidbits that usually go unseen.
Coming up.
Your reputation is on the floor.
I am an honest person. I did it. I won clean, fair and square.
Give a dog a bad name and it keeps it.
Exactly.
And you're a dog now with a bad name on national telly.
I've been tarnished.
Right, what have you been up to this week, Dave?
Well, we've been busy getting a lot of the lambs out into the field, onto some fresh pasture, and just enjoying this lovely sunshine.
Yeah, I'm really sad that the sunshine has come to a bit of an end because it's been a marvellous period of weather. But just seeing things like the donkeys going out, the llamas being outside, everything just getting that chance to run about on the grass, have a nibble and live its best life is the best time of year for me.
Well, I suppose if you turn any animals out into a field at springtime, they're going to have a good old gallop round. They're going to, skip and dance. So, yeah, it's a special time of year.
I think seeing Sapphire and Yorkshire Rose hit that turf and charge about and just show the joy and the excitement and enjoyment that they were feeling was something that will stick with me for a long time. It was a beautiful sight.
Well, I was thinking of Murphy the bull, because even though he's a big bull, there's nearly a ton there. He was kicking and jumping, he was loving life.
I were glad when I let him go that he ran in the other direction and not mine.
Well, he'd take some stopping, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah.
Anyway, that's enough talk about the farmyard. Let's talk about springtime on the farm with our good pals Helen, Jules and JB.
So last week, Springtime on the Farm aired on Channel 5. What a week it was. What were your highlights, Dave?
Well, I think the highlights were that nobody got stressed. Everybody got on with the job. Everybody was really happy. And it was just a lovely carry-on. It was the best organised springtime I've ever known.
I suppose it's at this point now where everyone's waiting to fully digest the viewing figures. Will it have rated highly enough for Winter on the Farm to be commissioned? These things always happen, don't they? There's always that anxiety around how many eyeballs were on the prize. Has it done well enough to continue?
Well, that's always the, will Winter happen? That everybody's waiting to see what the numbers are and what's going to come up next.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that Winter is coming.
Oh, well, Winter is coming.
Yeah. But whether Winter on the Farm will be coming, we'll have to wait and see. But in general, it was a joyous week. It was a week of wonderful weather. It was a week where the animals took centre stage. And I think we need a really big shout out to our farm team for making sure those animals looked the best they've ever looked. They were clean, they were polished, they were in great nick. There was nothing that you looked at and thought, ooh, that looks a bit dusty. That could have done with a wash. Everything looked great. I was really proud to be part of it.
Yeah, and it was so well organised, though. Everything seemed to flow nicely, and it was just a pleasure to do. I've got to say, Ellen and Jules and JB were on top form, and it was lovely just to spend a bit of time, nice chat with them. It was good fun.
Who do you like best? Helen, Jules, JB. And I'm not accepting I like them all the same. I need a name, and I need it now.
I can't give you it.
Why?
Because I'm not going to give you it.
But it is the one that's in your mind that you like best?
No, not really. I like them all. I think they're all top people.
Yeah, no, we know they're all good people. But is there one that you just like a bit more than the rest?
I'm not going to get drawn into this because you'll use it against me, and it'll just end up.
I was trying to pressure him into saying one, and I'm going to say I like them all the same.
Yeah, no, I've got to say though that there isn't really one that I think they're all great people.
Who do you think's the best presenter then?
Well, sorry to the other two. I think they're all the good. No, but the one that makes the least mistakes is Helen.
Right.
But JB's just stepping into that role a little bit more, and I think he's done a fine job. And Jules is
Jules is Jules.
we know he's slick. We
Yeah.
know he's good, right? Jules, if you're listening, which you're probably not, because you're probably doing up some antique furniture or going round some old houses trying to, escape somewhere. Jules is very, very good at what he does. He's easy to listen to. Everything just flows naturally.
He's a lovely, clean man as well,
Yeah.
is what I would say, because I've had him as a house guest twice. And when he leaves, that bed is made impeccably, right? The best Egyptian cotton sheets are pulled back nicely.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, we only put our best on for Jules. The towel is laid neatly on the bed, just as it was when he arrived. He just leaves it impeccably. He's a thoroughly well-mannered man.
Well, Rob, he has stopped at my house as well, and I'm going to say, left it lovely, hoovered round a little bit before he went, and the toilet was nice and clean.
Well, he does host the Loo of the Year award, doesn't he? So I can't imagine Jules leaving a dirty pan. It's just not in his nature.
Well, credit to Jules there.
Right, Jules, Helen, JB, the crew.
Oh, yeah.
The crew were fantastic, weren't they?
Yeah.
A pleasure to be around. Mick the sound man, what a nice chap.
Yeah.
The runners, the researchers. It's a coming together of everyone from Daisy Beck, and it's almost like a celebration of their business.
Yeah,
and
now-
it's nice to be part of it.
They weren't all there this time because the edit weren't there. They were taking the cards back each night, getting them processed. And so the voiceovers were done in Mick's van. Even those little jobs, I quite enjoy it, because you kind of put your own stamp on that little video that you've made.
And in fact, Dave, we've just recorded a voiceover, haven't we? Adam, who was on the podcast a few weeks ago, dropped in now, recorded a voiceover, and he's gone to India now.
Yeah. Now, Adam, what a great job he did.
Yeah.
He was in charge of all the cameras.
What do you think he was? What's his title?
It was Adam was series director.
Correct. Kim was series producer.
Series producer.
Macca was exec, I suppose.
All right. Okay. And they were all three of them chilled and lots of good fun.
Yeah, there was no conflict between them. There were no egos that were in play. Everyone was one team, one dream.
Yeah.
And it worked that way. It was really good. What about the stories, David? What about the stories that were Cannon Hall Farm related? Were there any of those that were personal favourites?
Well, I'm trying to think, because we did some in November, didn't we?
Have you forgotten them?
Well, we went up to get the Highland cow.
Lynn the cow.
Yeah. That was good fun. We had a hell of a night, didn't we? Mm. We had our Christmas party that night because
we've never been shown hospitality like it.
No, top man.
So the guy that we bought Lynn off, Kevin, is a thoroughly nice man. We met him at Auburn. He got champion cow at Auburn, and what a beauty that was. And we just had to try and get a cow from him. And he took us out and he just said, whatever you want to eat or drink, this is my treat, and I want you to have the very best.
Yeah, because I tried to buy a round of drinks and he wouldn't let me. And we had a right party.
To the point where Adam nearly couldn't film the next day.
No, Adam was a proper professional. He was up, he was ready to go, slightly later than the rest of us, but he was there and he made a very good film.
Well, they've used it, haven't they? I thought it'd all be like blurred and out of focus, but
No.
somehow that autofocus did him a real good turn there.
He was shooting on primes.
Was
But
he?
when we went to that whiskey distillery, right? I'm not a whiskey fan, but so clever, isn't it? They had that, the neck round the still had water going down it, so it kind of cooled the steam, so the heavier notes, so the lighter notes were left in the still, or something like that.
Tell everyone, David, what a prime
That's the
lens
flavour.
is.
A prime lens is a lens that focuses on one object, and then behind it is slightly blurred. So, like a spaghetti western.
If it's on your phone, right? Is it portrait, Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like having portrait on your phone, isn't it?
It's like a classic way of shooting. Cinematic?
Yeah, I think if you want to
Am I right
change
there?
focus, you've got to move the lens forward or backwards.
You've got to punch in.
Yeah,
It's at a fixed focal length.
a fixed focal lens. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Dale. That's good. That, but we like shooting on primes, don't we, Rob?
I think they generally use primes, don't they?
Yeah,
now,
for good quality.
for our stuff.
It gives it grainy, it gives it atmosphere,
It just gives
especially
that
shooting at night.
little bit of lack of clarity around your wrinkles and around your eyes, and as you're getting older, so we love prime lenses.
Yeah, you don't zoom in too far.
Yeah.
Don't punch in too far.
Yeah. But the real stars of the show, the animals, Dave,
Yeah.
which one stood out for you?
Well, I suppose I helped deliver Bluebell the donkey. So that was just one of them moments. You were knocking around, and there it was. It was struggling. It actually was coming out head and one leg, and the other leg was tucked back like this, so the elbow was stopping it coming out. So I had to kind of pull it forward, and it took a lot of doing, and then out it came. But I didn't pull it all the way out. And why didn't I do that, Rob?
Because you weren't strong enough?
No, go on, tell everybody.
Because your tea was ready.
No, not at all. Basically, you've got to pull it halfway out so the cord is still attached to mum.
Oh, that
right,
one.
so blood transfer occurs.
Passive immune transfer.
Yeah, and then the foal's got more immunity.
I think we were really lucky to get 2 baby donkeys delivered for the programme.
Yeah.
1 miniature, 1 big one.
Yeah.
To get the Highland calf.
Yeah.
It is possibly the best Highland calf we've ever had born. And the icing on the cake for me was Yorkshire Rose. To see her born naturally and safely and well and get a drink in, and Sapphire was such a lovely mum. That was probably the highlight for me, I think. That was something to look forward to enjoy and to cherish and hold close for optimism for the future.
I've got one.
Yeah.
You've probably forgotten about hot cross buns.
I don't want to talk about hot cross buns. When I let myself down. I let the legacy of my mother's baking down.
You didn't.
I let the family down.
You didn't.
They were not a good product.
No, they were really good, right? Parmesan cheese and bacon, right, on a hot cross bun, and in it as well, was exceptional when it was warm.
I took first-class ingredients and turned them into something that was a cacophony and an embarrassment. It will stick with me for a long time. I will make celery soup for a long time and try and perfect that before ever venturing any further again.
I've got to say, Rob, when it came out of the oven, beautiful. You weren't eating it because you're dieting, right? I had plenty. But mine, right, hot cross bun, I was going to put orange curd in the hot cross bun, but I couldn't get it in there. I didn't have anything to squirt it in there with, right? So I put it on the cross, and then I got some sugar, some big grain sugar, and I mixed cinnamon with it. So I had cinnamon sugar on the top as well. If anything, mine was a little bit too sweet, but people seem to like it.
I don't like sweet stuff like that, but people do. In the modern world, sugar is an attraction for people, isn't it?
It is.
And they do love it. And yeah, I suppose that's the
But
proof
so is bacon.
of the pudding was in the eating, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No one liked mine, and they all like yours.
No,
so
one
I
bloke-
got to accept that.
One bloke like yours, and I saw him outside the shop and said, have you got any them parmesan and bacon hot cross buns? I says, you'll never see them here.
He was a unique kind of guy, though, wasn't he?
He loved you, and he loved your buns. Yeah. But but for me, that was a bit of fun.
You can't build a business around one bloke, can you? I've got to accept they were rubbish, and I'll never make them again. And it's celery soup and bacon sandwiches only for me now.
Right, we've just had to take a little break because we've had a little bit of an emergency down on the farm. Rob, what happened? Because I just missed it.
I just really needed the toilet.
Well, fully enough, right?
No, I didn't really. I'm kidding. No, we had a cow go into labour, and David and I scooted down there. We decided that we would leave her and take a little bit of a watching brief. David went off to see a man about some sewage.
I did. We had some block drains, and he brought a jetting system to actually jet it all out. And boy, I tell you what, there was some sewage there, Rob.
So we had a sandwich, didn't we? You went to deal with that. I went to deal with the cow. I was watching her very, very closely, and she started to push, really, really push. And I rang you, didn't I? I said,
Yeah.
Dave, get yourself back down here. Things are moving on.
I was straight in the car
Yeah.
and came straight down to you,
Yeah.
and I just missed it by about 30 seconds.
But in the meantime, She'd really pushed on. The calf was out. It was out to its shoulders, but it was in the thickest of membranes round its face. And I just thought, oh, flipping heck. Why can't that membrane break? Why can't I see? Because I really wanted to leave her, because you don't want to get involved unless you really have to. But I thought that calf could literally suffocate before my eyes. I'm not prepared to do it. So I climbed in athletically, broke the membrane from its face, saw that the calf was breathing, and I was just preparing to tiptoe back out. And of course, Beryl being Beryl, the cow, noticed me. She stood straight up, and at that point I knew I was committed, because the calf wasn't far enough out to fall out, and I had to then start pulling, and she wasn't aggressive towards me. She was fine. I think in my own heart I thought, well, I know that she knows I'm trying to help. So I pulled and I pulled and I pulled, and I got it then to the hips, and then she moved around a bit more. So I moved around a bit more, and then I did that and put all my weight on it, because I knew it needed, because they can suffocate.
You can, yeah, they can squeeze
around the hips. So out it sploshed, and as soon as it hit the floor, my eyes went down to see if the calf was all right. She whipped round like a mother tiger, and I was pinned in the corner. And this just shows the danger of carving cows on your own. Even carving cows with someone else is dangerous. But I was there. I was vulnerable. You know, I was naked in defence. I had nothing to protect me. But thankfully, her eyes were only for the calf. She went straight down and licked it. If she'd have come at me, which she tried to do later on, an hour later, she tried to come at me. So she was by no means dependable. And anyway, I sidled out the side, made me excuses, and departed.
I mean, something else we have to do straight after the cow giving birth is we have to dip the navel. So what we do now is we get some feed for the cow, we give it the feed, then we lift the calf up, dip the navel, and before it's finished eating, we're out of the pen. Because that is, if you're picking the calf up, they can turn on you again.
It's a good distraction, isn't it? There's only one thing that cow, Beryl, likes more than the calf, and it's food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it likes the same as the calf.
So you got to pull the calf out. I got to pull something else out of a sewer. It was a winning combination.
We're back in the room. We're back in the room. We're here to continue our chat about springtime on the farm.
Right then. So we did hot cross buns.
Yeah.
That were great. Now,
rubbish.
What do you mean rubbish?
Rubbish. I never want to do it again.
One really, really good thing we did was you were the referee, and we did an egg and spoon race with Jules, Helen, and JB.
I wouldn't be talking proudly about this.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been accused about cheating, but I did it. Got my sticker, and I did it in jest before we did it, and I showed JB as well. You know, he knew that I was innocent. I took it off, and then we had a proper race. Because right at the end, Rob, my egg fell off after I crossed the line.
Your reputation is on the floor.
No, it's not.
On national television.
I am an honest person. I did it. I won clean, fair and square.
I think we're going to have to set one of those campaigns up. Free the Barnsley one. You know, he's been proven on national television to be a cheat.
I'm not a cheat.
No, well, I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And now these guys know that.
And I was the referee. Did I give you a red card?
No, you did, just for fun. Just for fun.
I went along with it, but afterwards I thought, oh, crikey, you give a dog a bad name and it keeps it.
Exactly.
And you're a dog now with a bad name on national telly.
I've been tarnished.
Yeah. So, free the Barnsley one. We're going to get a T-shirt done. Dave is innocent. Write to your MP. Write to the Prime Minister. Let's get a campaign.
Forget about Prime Minister. MP will do.
Right, Dave, we're recording this before springtime is actually aired on national television, so you don't actually know the fallout from the cheating in the egg and spoon.
Oh, it could go bad.
What were your highs and lows of the whole week?
I suppose, it's going to be yours as well. Muriel's calf was a shocking low.
The big disappointment.
Yeah, but the only thing is, it had passed before. We brought it out. We carved Mum. That is the one thing. We didn't do anything wrong. We just delivered a calf that had passed. Now, on the plus side, on the highs, winning at Egg and Spoon was a great thing because it went to the wire. It literally, I thought JB had won. You thought JB had won, right? But the camera, they watched it back. And JB's egg left the spoon before he crossed the line.
Do you now regret cheating?
I didn't cheat. You know I didn't cheat.
No, but do you regret
pretending?
Yeah.
I know, but they were all egging me on. You get it? Egging me on. Right? Literally, they were going, go on, just for a bit of fun, do that. It'll be good. It'll be good fun for social media. So I thought, yeah, all right, I'll go along with it. You know, and
then they've disqualified with
you. They've used it against me. And they shouldn't have done because it was just a bit of fun.
Free the Barnsley one. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I am innocent. So that was good fun. Delivering that donkey just there at the right time. That was good. I mean, what about yours? The Shire horse must be up there.
No, that was a big moment. A big moment in the year, really. Lambing went well. I was happy with the organisation that we put into that. The births arrived when we wanted them to. I thought the place looked great. It had a smile on its face. I thought all the team contributed to the animals looking the best they've ever looked on this filming week. There were no dusty old doormat coats. With everything had a clean coat. It had just had a wash. It looked really good. And
that's down to Philip, really. Well, and the team as well, washing the animals. I mean, you know, they washed a few sheep. They groomed. They washed the horses. Everything was looking spectacular.
The weather was great.
Yeah.
The fact that lambing went well. We've managed to get nearly all the lambs born safely.
Kim and Adam did a fantastic job.
And I think Muriel going to Gordon's and accepting a different calf.
Yeah.
Probably just the icing on the cake. So I think that rightens a lot of wrongs. You know, when you've lost a calf, if you can get a foster calf that doesn't have a mum onto that cow, then it goes a long way to putting things right. So all in all, a successful, enjoyable week.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it on the telly and hopefully putting a few smiles on people's faces.
Yeah.
So.
And then hopefully winter will happen and we can all go out for a drink and for Christmas.
Winter will happen.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah. It's a pity we didn't get out for a drink this time, but winter will make it happen.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Cannonall Farm podcast.
Don't worry, if you missed Springtime on the Farm, it's available to download on My5.
Well done, Dave. You did that really well.
Can I have one more go at it? All right, then. Don't worry, if you missed Springtime on the Farm, it's available to download on My5. Thank you very much.
Very good.
I always get there in the end.
And speaking of the end, this is the end of this podcast. So until the next time, I've been Farmer Rob.
I've been Farmer Dave.
Bye-bye.
I don't think people know we've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit tired.
You're looking a bit jaded.
Yeah.